It's time once again for the O Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, CW. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app. Some housekeeping right at the top. I got word that Google Podcasts will be shuttering its doors, so to speak, and moving its efforts over to YouTube Music. What does that mean? Well, it means I'll be able to upload the audio podcast directly to YouTube Music so that everything will be housed on YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. I'll let everybody know when I get access to that. And the video podcast and the audio podcast will be in one place, finally under one roof in YouTube. It's already under one roof on owrestling.com. Go to owrestling.com for more content. So that's one. And two, I've been dabbling in creating some short form wrestling content for O Wrestling, but it's not the wrestling content you might be used to, which I think would be way more interesting. So the whole premise is I will be playing video games that are kind of related to wrestling, but also not. So one example is I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. What a fantastic game that is. And in the game, I've created a wrestler. His name is Bach the Bold. He is a barbarian bard dual multi-class. And the whole point is to have some fun with that build, trying to do wrestler type things. So I'm currently in the early stages of the game, so the content is a little non-wrestlery. But the moment I hit strength where I can pick people up and kind of chuck them around, then you'll start seeing some really cool stuff. Also, I re-downloaded Fortnite because they uploaded the OG map, and I cracked open my old there's a Lucha Libre skin in that game. So we're gonna play a little bit of Fortnite as a wrestler and see if how far we can get in. No build mode. No, let's do build mode because I'm terrible at that. So it'll be really fast clips of me just losing. Anyway, to support that, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at O Wrestling, OH Wrestling. And, I'd appreciate it. Head over there and show some support. Leave some comments, leave some likes, tell a friend, all the good stuff. Today, we're talking about heel and face turns in, pro wrestling in general, but WWE specifically. We're going to focus in on our man, I was going to call him my hero, but he's definitely not my hero. Someone we admire as a person who lived the dream, from starting at the bottom, making it all the way to the top multiple times. The perpetual gatekeeper, the heel of all heels, The Miz. That's right. The Miz has been granted his face turn in the WWE off the backs of Gunther and the Imperium, and he is on his way to wrestle Gunther for the IC Championship. I believe he's wrestling at Survivor Series, I think, for the title. I think. He won a fatal four-way match between Ricochet, Ivar, Bronson Reed, and himself, The Miz. And he came out on top, and the fans popped for Miz. Now, backtracking a little bit, a week prior, The Miz was holding his Miz TV show and invited Gunther out. And at this point, Miz was a heel. But the moment you have two heels in the ring together, someone's going over, right? Someone's going to be the good guy. And Gunther will not be the good guy, not for a while, if ever, who knows. But he came out and basically did the burying of Miz that will allow Miz to, clap back with some face goodness. He did. The fans kind of ate it up a little bit. They were like, okay, Miz, we see you. And it led to a match where Miz was fighting for his ability to get his way back to the IC title. He won and the fans popped. It's good to see The Miz get that recognition and his accolades. I always say Miz lived the dream. My man was on he was on TV prior to WWE when he was on the Road Rules or Real World. There you go. And he said, I'm going to be a WWE superstar. He called himself The Miz. There's documentation. Go back and look at it. And now he's done it. He has that gimmick. He's lived that life. But he's always been a phenomenal heel. He's a great shit heel, honestly. He's just really easy to not like because he's really good at cutting promos on people and, you know, picking them apart. And his in-ring work is great. And everything he does is, you know, top-notch. He's a veteran now. It's hard to think. I mean, I'm old too, but it's hard to think how long he's actually been doing this and how long he's been in the spotlight and how ubiquitous he is with, you know, Monday Night Raw and wrestling and whatnot. But he's always been the bad guy. Whenever The Miz has a babyface run, it never really goes great. But I feel like they're doing something a little bit different with The Miz's babyface run this time. They're acknowledging the fact that he isn't comfortable, or at least he hasn't been given enough accolades, you know, from the crowd, where he doesn't know how to feel or react to the crowd being, you know, on his side. So he's super excited about the crowd actually liking him, and he's playing up that fact. So he's still The Miz, which is great. He's still that character, but he's a character now who's like, oh my goodness, people actually like me now. I can, you know, get cheers. This is a whole new thing for me. So he's going to like play that aspect up about a guy who's just like, yeah, I like this aspect. I like this part of it, which I think is really great. And he does great character work. And I think giving him the space to explore being this character, but also a good guy in, you know, certain lights, it's going to be great for his career. And honestly, and this might be a hot take, but if The Miz goes over and defeats Gunther to get the IC title back, I think that would be a fitting way to end Gunther's IC title reign. Because who else is going to do it? And I sound like Vince when he said to Brock, who else is going to beat The Undertaker? Anyone could, honestly. But The Miz has enough history and pedigree and longevity that he can carry that title again in the same fashion that Gunther did. Just a little counter, right? It won't be like, oh, I honor this title. It'd be like, I honor the fact that I destroyed your legacy and now I'm the champ again. Now, what sparked this episode was when someone like The Miz, who is like a staple in heel work, does a face turn, there has to be a equal and opposite reaction to someone else, right? So I'm wondering who's going heel now. Someone has to replace Miz in the hierarchy of heels and faces on Raw. So my question is, who's going to take up that baton? Did it happen already? Was it Shinsuke Nakamura? It could have been. There has to be a swap, right? You almost need more heels than faces because faces need mountains to climb and people to overcome. And Shinsuke Nakamura seems like, you know, he was a face and they twisted him really slowly into this kind of not shit heel like Miz, but he's more conniving, right? So they switched him, and now I think Miz and Shinsuke are the ones who did the dance and swapped, right? Because we do have quite a few baby faces on Raw between, you know, all the tag teams coming up, New Day and whatnot. Ivar has always been a heel, and it's interesting to watch now that I think it's Eric just went under surgery and he'll be out for about a year. So Eric is for Ivar is going to be, you know, taking a lot of singles run matches, so he's going to be a pretty big heel as well. So I don't know. I do think it was Shinsuke who triggered the Miz's face turn. But let me know in the comments what you think. Who did a turn with the Miz to kind of balance out the universe? Hit me up in the comments on the YouTube page. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to hit up owrestling.com for more content. You know I appreciate you. Don't forget to tell a friend, and don't you ever forget.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah.